Hi, so I was trying to record this on something else and it just wasn't working. And it wasn't submitting. So I'm kind of freaking out. So I'm going to give a presentation by my phone. I'm sorry if this doesn't work. I was trying to use Kaltura and it wasn't working. So we're just going to hold it and go for it. Okay, so I presented the manatee, which by its looks, it is a large gray aquatic mammal with two small flippers and one paddle-shaped tail. They have whiskers, which is really cute, and they use them for sensory. And they also have some hair on their body, which they also use for sensory purposes. Sometimes manatees have algae growing on them, which is really cool because it shows how they're involved in the environment. They also have molars in their mouths, two small eyes, which are really great for seeing underwater, but they have no external structures for ears. So they can still hear, but you don't actually see an ear on them. Manatees are around 10 to 15 feet long and can weigh between 800 and 1,200 pounds. In terms of their habitats, manatees prefer warm tropical and subtropical waters. They cannot handle temperatures below 20 degrees Celsius. In addition, they prefer shallow bodies of water such as rivers, bays, and coastal areas, which is exactly what I looked at in Homosopsis Springs. They can also be found near Florida, the Caribbean, Mexico, Central America, and as far north as Massachusetts during the summer. Manatees eat a lot of aquatic vegetation, which help keep the seabeds healthy and controlled. As I said before, algae can grow on manatees, and fish also sometimes hide in them. So this is a really cool way to interact with relationships between animals within the ecosystem. In terms of their IUCN rating, manatees are considered vulnerable. There are approximately 13,000 manatees in the world, and around 6,000 of them are located in southeastern United States, which is really cool because it means it's been increasing steadily since 2016 when they were moved from critically endangered to endangered/vulnerable. Like I just said, manatees are vulnerable and endangered depending on the species because their numbers are so low and human activity is continuing to hurt them. Some examples of ways that humans hurt them is through pollution and boating accidents, which hurt their fins or their skin, and a lot of times causes them to drown. In terms of research and helping them, there's a really cool nonprofit called Save the Manatee, and it's a leading organization for research and conservation. They take part in public awareness, sponsor research and rehabilitation, and they even take legal action when needed. It's really cool. Jimmy Buffett runs this organization. There's also a lot of zoos like Homosassa that take manatee conservation really seriously. The Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute researches manatees in order to provide the best suggestion for policies. So they do things like figure out how many manatees are in the world so they can better influence government decisions. They also suggest different policies like reducing boating to keep manatees safe. There's also federal laws to protect manatees. For example, it is illegal to capture, kill, or harass manatees. They're also protected under the CITES Treaty. So when I was observing my animal, I observed a 20-minute live stream of 3 female manatees named Electra, Ariel, and Betsy. They range from ages 22 to 47, and I observed them at 11:30 to 11:50 a.m. on April 26, 2020. I chose this time because this is when they're fed, and I thought this would be a really cool way to really see them because the webcam is located right by where they're fed, which is a really great location, I think, because the animals are constantly there hoping to get fed. When I observed them, the weather was sunny, and it was around 26 degrees Celsius. The behaviors that I saw during this observation, which occurred in Central Florida in the United States, was really similar to natural behaviors of manatees. As you can see, I chose eating, spinning, which literally means like they're turning around in a spiral, interacting with the camera, and surfacing to breathe. Because they are mammals, they do need to breathe oxygen approximately every 20 minutes, which is why this number was pretty low, because I only watched the 3 manatees within a 20-minute period. I chose interacting with the camera because from my research, I saw that manatees are really curious and fun creatures, so I thought it would be cool to see if they would wonder what the camera is. Again, with spinning, because they're fun animals, I wanted to see how often they would do so. Eating? Well, I chose the eating time, so that's why I saw so much eating by the animals. In addition, manatees are just really awesome creatures in the environment because they have no natural predators. So they're really just living their lives hoping for the best. However, despite all the sad things that do seem to happen to manatees, there is still hope for them if boaters continue to follow the policies put out by the government about speed and in certain areas where manatees are found, and if the government creates stricter pollution laws to reduce factory pollution for animals. And lastly, we need to do what we can to slow the destruction of manatee habitats. Because they live in shallow areas, a lot of times the vegetation gets messed up by boating or pollution or just regular human activity. It's so important that we can help save these creatures before it's too late. Again, I'm sorry that this was like this. If you want me to re-record it, I can. I was just trying, it was just a mess. This is me. Hi.